Welcome back to Connections, guys. It's good to see you again.
Great being back.
It's great
New
being
week,
back.
new
for
beginnings.
Sure.
Hello, guys.
Yeah, for sure. Hope you guys have been doing really, really well. Fantastic. So tonight we're going to be talking about careers, because since it's around career day.
Yeah.
For sure.
Of course, yeah.
Because in South Africa, most universities sort of close application periods in July and August. So this is the time that you need to start looking at what you want to apply for, maybe start doing a bit of research, and looking into the kind of careers you want to go into and how to send off your applications. And we're also going to tackle some more questions as well this evening. For sure, yeah.
Knowing when the due date is as well.
Yeah, knowing when the due date is as well.
Don't apply. Leave it till too late.
Otherwise, that's
You'll struggle the following year with all the long
saddest
lines
thing in
and,
life. Like no school to go to next year. That's not what we want.
Not cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, though, we'll also be taking a look at what role an aptitude test plays, as with regards what career path you'll be going through. I know many people went for those aptitude tests and everything, but I never really took it seriously. Maybe had I gone for one, I would know what exactly I want to do in my life. So so stick around for that.
For sure, definitely.
Yes, and a big thank you goes out to Career Day.
Yeah.
Because you know why, ne? Mr. Thang over there, he's looking so dapper.
Look like
He
an
is
accountant
looking
tonight.
fly.
Sorry, I just had to put a bit of effort. I just had to put a bit of effort.
Like, you know,
being
suit and
career
tie.
evening and
He's all
everything.
gorgeous. I must say, you're looking very nice. So thank you to
thank you,
Career
thank you.
Day. Thank you. Otherwise, I don't think we would have seen this, would we?
Not really. The thing is, the show isn't of seriousness vibes. You know, it's not.
I beg your pardon.
No. It's a very casual. You know, it's not like Parliament Review.
We're
You know, where you
connecting,
involve the fashion police and like, yo, today in Parliament, you know, so and so was dressed like this, and you know, having people walking out like, where are you going?
Are you still harping on that?
No, you look
Where
very
are you
nice,
going?
definitely.
Thank you,
Well,
thank
guys,
you.
I'm excited because we posted a question earlier on Facebook. What career would you like to venture out into? So quickly, you guys, what would you like? Like, let's say you're a child, you're in grade 8. What would be your dream career at that point in your life?
I wanted to be an actress.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
And you still can. You can still.
She acts very well.
She does. You can still make it in Hollywood and be like Miss Diva antics.
I want to be on the stage. I want to be a working actress.
Okay.
I wanna be on the
Okay.
stage. Shakespeare.
Oh,
Okay.
geez, that's rather extreme
Okay.
acting.
And then
Yeah.
you, grade 8 Luther, what would he want to be?
Just subtract 2 grades below. Grade 6, I've always wanted to be a pilot. Got to high school and you needed science. And I was like, my dreams are shattered. So, if I was still smart at science, I'll go for the pilot route.
That's
yeah,
good.
That's
Nice.
I love it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, we've been having a lot of comments from you guys, and we're so excited. We will read the comments a bit later on. But, guys, I want to tell you now how you can get a hold of us. Facebook, www.facebook.com/Mindset Connections. And then on Twitter, it is @Connections319. And then, of course, you can always call us. Guys, please call us. Pretty please, we want to talk to people. I want to talk to people.
Just get that clear. Not send us, please call me,
me.
but rather give us an actual phone call.
We will not phone you back.
Yeah.
Please call. Okay, please call us. No, don't send please calls. Nis phone. Our number is 086 105 8262, and then you can only send us an SMS, not a please call me as in *12. No. We want an SMS from you guys with your comments. Our number is 083 44888810. And then finally, email connections@mindset.co.za.
Yeah, for sure. Please get chatting with us. We've got an awesome guest coming on later on.
Oh,
in the
I'm
show.
excited for that.
Definitely,
Yeah,
she's
so
going to
am I.
answer some awesome questions for us. But before we get there, it's time for us to share again and connect.
Indeed.
I know. It's always me to go first. It's terrible. Why?
Yeah,
Am I
yeah.
being picked on?
We just prefer it that way.
Just prefer it that
Just
way.
prefer
Okay,
it
cool. So
that
you're going to
way.
send me into the battlements first to see if I get shot or killed. or anything.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm deflecting right now. It's working really well. Anyway, so I decided to take a BA English Language and Literature with a specialization in creative writing.
Amen, sister.
Okay.
Yes.
we'll continue so we know what that is. We like, oh,
Elaborate. Tell us more what it's
Well,
about.
basically, it's an examination of the English language, number one, and then literature from about all the way down to about the 18th century, all the way up into 21st century literature, depending on how you look at it. And then I have to hand in a creative writing portfolio, and then we do some linguistics. So we look at how language develops in multicultural societies. I've studied the development of the English language in history.
wow.
Ancient Greek and Roman history as
Oh,
well.
Have you always been interested in that? Because I remember at
Yeah.
school, Shakespeare
Was a
my
dread. Shakespeare,
I
will
told
you
you.
like go to the English class and like
yeah.
pull your skin off because English is not on?
You know what? The thing is with Shakespeare is that he's the boss. He's a gangster, right? He's like the gangster poet. He's amazing. It was said at school
book
they
that I
force
found
you
gangster was
to read
Othello.
it. Othello.
Othello was gangster.
Othello was amazing. Brilliant play. But the thing is, at school, when you're looking at Shakespeare, you're kind of like, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
What is
how
a weeping welkin?
I was
Yeah.
that kid
You
in
know?
class, like, but I don't understand this
Yeah,
English.
I think also it's about getting yourself a decent text with decent annotations and
Yeah,
explanations on
yeah.
the side, and also watching some of the film adaptations, and also going to go and watch Shakespeare on the
Live
stage, because
theatre,
when
yeah.
an actress or actor actually brings the words to life and says them not in that sing-songy way that you're meant to read Shakespeare
Yeah,
forever,
yeah.
and actually put some emotion and thought behind it, then it actually makes sense. But enough from me.
Two of my
So-
favorite quotes before we move on in the English. Iago.
Yeah.
Huh, I like not that. And what is the other one? I am not what I am.
Yeah.
Two favorite quotes.
Do you see
I
yourself
think
as
those are the
Iago
ones that I
though?
remember from the play rather than being favorites. I do not see myself in any of the Shakespeare plays.
Why?
Not one.
Okay, cool. Well, let's move on. This is not a Shakespeare episode.
Yeah, of course. We're not for you
So,
guys.
Mitchell, how did you get into your vibe today?
Guys, the industry that I'm in isn't really as formally dressed and everything. They're very laid back. You know, the only reason I'm all formal tonight is because of the show.
Career days, siyayibonga.
For those of you that want to pursue certain career paths and requires you to dress in such a manner, I'm representing y'all.
Okay.
So I'm in the IT
Okay.
sphere of things.
Sector, okay.
And I did it in high school, but the only problem was it was all about programming.
Okay.
And I was all right. First year I did it.
Okay.
I started to lacked more. I realized that programming wasn't my thing.
Okay.
And I dropped IT. That was a mistake that I did. Not necessarily a mistake, but I needed to get through matric. But why I say it's a mistake is that I picked up an extra subject in matric, and now I think of it, I've lost about 2 years or so of work. But fine, I've passed that well. And then I went on a 3-month course. Very good institution here in Bryanston, Rivonia, an IT institution. And then did my Cisco ICND1, ICND2, and networking. And then now I'm a trainee at MWeb, and the learning just doesn't end. Doesn't end. There's so much more to it. It's very interesting how you learn how networks work, the interesting cables that run along our seabed, you know, things that people don't know about.
Do you
that
enjoy
go
it though?
on a day-to- I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it very much.
That's
it's
good.
different from programming, the whole cramming of lines and everything. And there was an interesting thing that a friend of mine had, in fact, at this Rivonia institution that we had, was cram, pass, forget. Those are one of the things you had. And that's the motto you need to have with Delphi, because you understand what's going on, you know?
Okay.
So I'm enjoying what I'm doing now. It's brilliant. You know,
Okay,
you
cool.
understand how networks are built, how internet works and everything. So enough about my IT.
Okay, cool. And Legano, how have you decided to further your studies, or rather, how have you decided to improve your matric results?
Well, I matriculated last year, and then because I like things. I had this subject, maths.
Oh, yeah.
That's why.
Not
Okay,
the
cringe.
one with literacy, no. The pure hardcore maths. I did that. And then my marks, when they came back, they were like, they needed to be upgraded. So that's what I'm busy with at the moment. I'm upgrading my maths, and I'm enjoying it, I must say. And I know this time I'm going to come up with beautiful marks.
And that's the thing. Like, you could also, if you don't know what you're going to do and your marks weren't that great, maybe you couldn't get into a certain department or faculty or whatever it was, but it's also an option of upgrading your marks. I mean, I thought...
And especially with health sciences, because that's my interest. I really want to get into the health field. They are so strict. They are strict, like super strict. So I had no option of like, okay, they'll give me a exemption.
I'll tell you why they're strict. I'll tell you why they're strict. If I got 35% or whatever the pass mark is for certain subjects in our country, and I'm a doctor, and you're coming to my surgery and I'm going to, you know, perform this hectic operation on you, and I've only passed, I know, 35% of my biology, my maths, my science, would you trust me?
Well, I mean, you still have to get into med school, but also let's also consider how parents play a role in your decision making when you're deciding to go into school. How did your parents respond to you upgrading?
Oh, my parents, they were supportive because, I mean, it's my dream. It's what I want to do. Yeah. And they couldn't say anything, really, because I would have told them, like, Dad, if you want to do something else, you know, that you still have time. Yeah. You can still go back to school.
And it's not about rebelling against your parents.
Yeah, it's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. They've always known that I was interested in IT. Okay. But yeah, they didn't really play a role. It was like, do your thing, type of a thing.
Yeah, myself as well. My parents were extremely supportive. They were like, okay, we have an artist. What can we do?
And that's the thing. You don't. Many parents rather would tell their kids, listen, go into this fear of industry because I did this, or hey, there's a lot of money in this, or you know what I'm saying. So rather than living their dream, or I want my child to be this, to be that, to be this. There's a guy I know, he's now qualified, you know, he's a doctor, and maybe his parents played a role in that, but now he doesn't want anything to do with you know, into practice and everything, you know. So
okay, cool. So now that we've touched on a few topics, kind of just generally, we'll come back and go into them in a little bit more detail. We've got Yolanda Nongauza here with us today, a counseling psychologist from UJ, to answer a couple of questions about how to plan your career, what kind of things you should be looking at, how you should be going about, you know, figuring out what you want to do for the rest of your life, invariably. So we're going to go off to ad break, and we'll be back soon. Don't go away. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us this evening on Connections, we're talking Career Day. Yeah. We've got a wonderful guest with us, Yolanda Nongauza. Yes. A counseling psychologist from UJ is going to be answering all your questions pertaining to making the right career choices and prepping your tertiary education to suit your needs. So we're going to dive right into it. But before we do, we've got some comments on Facebook.
Yes, actually. But before I read those comments, I would like to send nothing but love to PC Training and Business College. Yes, you know that they've given us this beautiful babe. She is my baby. That's what I like to call her. But I let them have it now and again.
She's really stingy about it, actually.
No, I'm just joking. No, you lie. Don't lie. So a huge thank you goes out to PC Training and Business College. And guys, just check out their courses that you might be interested in and see what you might find and like at PC. Just go educate yourself, because that's important. And then on Facebook, we have really nice comments here from Mamelo Hope, who says, she wants to become a CFO, that is a Chief Financial Officer, and she even wants to become a motivator, mostly to the youth, because they need guidance and need to be told things that they're doing are to benefit the world and them. Okay, I'm not quite getting this, but basically what she's saying is that she wants to be a motivator. So thank you, Mamelo. And Anissa Mazimpaka says she wants to become someone who makes a positive impact in the lives of people. Way to go.
Great choice. So let's dive right into it. Yolanda, it's time to face the firing squad. Are you ready? Are you ready to go?
Welcome to the show.
Ready.
I'm joking. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a counseling psychologist, as you say, at University of Johannesburg. About 3 years in the profession right now. I graduated in 2009 with my master's at the University of Fort Hare.
Okay.
And did my internship at the University of Pretoria and wrote the board exam in 2010. And I qualified the same year in 2010. So there's a lot that you had to go through. Yeah. It's your undergrad bachelor's degree, your honors degree, your master's degree. Depending on which institution you are studying at, it can take a year or 2 years. Okay. And then it's your internship year with the board exam as well, with the Health Professionals Council of South Africa.
Excellent.
So then I'm registered as a psychologist there.
Okay, cool, fantastic. So let's start with the barrage of questions.
Now, I would like to know, you're a matric student, I matriculated last year, and then you pass with a B, a D, or a H. What do each of these symbols mean for you?
From my understanding, because I'm not in the education faculties in terms of education in high school or in primary school, but from what I understand, when I have matriculants come in at PsyCAD at University of Johannesburg, when they want career assessments to be done, and we obviously ask for their higher certificates if they have finished grade 12. Okay. So what we usually do, I usually do see the B's and the D's and the H, and from my understanding is that if you there's a B symbol, it means you have passed. You have minimum requirements to enter into a bachelor degree. Okay, and then the D stands for the diploma. You have the minimum requirements to actually apply for a diploma. And then the H would mean for the high certificate. It means you actually have the capacity or qualifications or requirements to enter some maybe in an FET college or a technicon, something like that for those qualifications. Okay. So that basically from my understanding. Okay. I stand corrected. Maybe teachers out there could give more clarification.
Yes, please do. If you have knowledge of these, please tell us what do the symbols mean. Yeah. Okay, now you spoke about a career assessment. What is a career assessment and how does it help me to choose the career that's perfect for me?
Okay. As a psychologist, as I told you that I work for the Center of Psychological Services and Academic Development at UJ on all 4 campuses. So obviously we deal with students coming from different parts of the country who don't know anything about what they want to study. So as a psychologist, we employ psychological interventions. So career assessments is one of the interventions. So any registered professional with the Health Professionals Council of South Africa is qualified to do like a psychometrist or a psychologist, some registered counselors, but I'm not quite sure what their scope of practice. Okay. But if they have those scope of practice to actually do career assessments, then they can do that with the help of a psychologist in some instances. Okay. But a career assessment basically consists of an aptitude test. Aptitude tests can include any cognitive tools, like, for instance, intelligence or reasoning ability instruments, for instance. And then it basically tests out your weaknesses, your strengths. Like, for instance, your IQ level, if it were. If you really want to know what are your capabilities in certain technical inventories and so on. Okay. And then we have the personality assessments. Now, the personality assessments, it actually shows you your characteristics and traits, the kind of person that you are. Okay. And then you have your interest inventories. Now, your interest inventories are basically instruments that measure your dislikes and your preferences in certain occupational industries. Whether you're a health science, like you have said, that you prefer to be in the health sciences faculties. So those kinds of things we actually merge together in a professional written report that we actually give to the client after we have done and finished with the feedback. Because initially we do with the intake interview. That's when you come in and we introduce each other, and then you talk about what your problems are. You're not sure what to study, and your parents have told you have to go and do engineering. You have to be a doctor, and you're still not sure of what you want to do. And then you're thinking maybe my life is in the arts, like for instance in your case. So what happens is you come in and see one of us. And we do an intake interview. So we speak about yourself, your interests, what have you always wanted to be when you grow up. You know, everybody has that dream.
Yeah.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. So like me, that's what I wanted to do.
I think every child went through that stage. I want to be a doctor.
No, I was still dressing up and putting my pajama pants on like it was like a wig and stuff and singing songs.
So you've always been the artistic.
I just want to be an actress.
So there are people who are very lucky who actually know what they want to do from a very early
stage.
And especially with the support of the parents, then it goes on and they support them right through. Okay. And so we also have tests that actually show what your attitude is like towards your teachers, what are your study habits. You know, people are very clueless, if I may say that, in terms of what study skills they need in order to succeed, whether in high school or whether in university.
And then from me, I would like to know NBT test, National Benchmark Test. That test, I must say, it's difficult. And what is it and why must we write that test before actually being considered into entering university?
Okay. What I understand from our university, at University of Johannesburg, it's compulsory. Because we had a problem in terms of students not understanding the English or the text that has actually been given to them within textbooks or whatever material they have to study. And so basically what the National Benchmark Test actually looks into, as a school person that actually left grade 12 last year or this year, is actually want to see your academic literacy, your quantitative literacy, and as well as your mathematic capabilities at a higher education level. Okay, because what that means is, are you able, okay, so how can we assist you once you have applied and have been accepted at university? How can we assist you in terms of academic literacy? Do you need more help in terms of understanding how to read certain texts that you're not understanding? Because you know, you come about with big, bold words that you've never come across in your whole entire life. And plus the level of education in universities is actually higher than in high school, because there you're spoon-fed. Your teacher tells you that tomorrow you must know that you're writing a test and you have to be reminded, etc. Now the quantitative literacy test as well looks into, are you able to interpret data? Are you able to interpret graphs, tables, etc., things like those? And for instance, things that need you to know, like for instance in a mathematical formulae or a chemistry formulae, whatever formulae that you'd need to know during the first year or whichever year that you'd be doing. So in mathematics, obviously, if you're in health sciences or engineering or science modules, that would need you to actually know mathematics or have mathematics during your studies. Excellent. I hope that answers your question.
I'm good with that.
Fabulous. All right. So it's my turn to hit you up, and I don't want to put you at an unfair disadvantage. So I'm just gonna make sure this is right by your face. There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Stepping up against your wonderful dread jacket, and I want to hear you, not the jacket. Anyway, I just wanted to find out briefly. We're going to have to run through these quite quickly because we're running out of time. But what are the different faculties that you can find at university, and what sort of people thrive in those environments?
Well, that's a very loaded question. But what I can say is that different universities have different number of faculties, okay, in terms of the size of the university. Like at University of Johannesburg, for instance, we have 9 faculties and over about 200 undergraduate qualifications, as well as postgraduate qualifications as well. So it's basically a division within the universities of different careers areas, like for instance, engineering, faculty of engineering, faculty of management, faculty of education, faculty of health sciences, the list goes on and on. So for a person who's interested, like for instance, Digalo, in the health sciences, so what you would do, let's say for instance, you want to apply for a health sciences, let's say, what were you interested in?
Pharmacy.
Pharmacy. Okay, unfortunately we don't have, but let's say pharmacy, right? So you look at the course content, what does it have, okay? Your subjects. Do you have the major subjects that they want, the compulsory subjects? How much is your APS scored compared to what they want you to have? And what is for instance, the requirements that is made for your not academic literacy, but mathematical literacy? Like, for instance, does it need a straight mathematics and not a mathematics literacy and so on? So those are kinds of things that you have to look into. Okay. Do I qualify for the specific area of degree?
Okay, cool.
And then calculate all those things.
Right, excellent. Thank you so much for your insights. Please don't go away. We're going to be back with Yolanda for more information. Don't worry, we're going to pick her brain to death. So stay right where you are. We'll be back after this break.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. We've got a lovely Yolanda Nongawuza here with us today. Am I saying it right? I feel like I'm completely ruining your name.
Some people call me Nongawuza, so.
Yes, I've heard.
Okay, excellent. Well, we were cut off a little bit short on the last segment because there was just so much information to get through. It was really, really quite interesting. So I think we're gonna head right in. Do we have anything on social media?
Can you just give me a minute?
Okay, cool. All right. Well, then while you're figuring out technology, what we're going to do is we're going to dive straight into the first question. So, what are other factors that one should take into consideration when they're deciding on what to study? You know, finance or location of the university or things like that. What other factors should one consider?
Well, the choice of study is very important, and knowledge of self is also very important. Okay. So knowing yourself will actually help you in terms of leading you into the right direction and into whichever career that you want to do. Because especially a career is something that you do on a lifelong basis. So when you do think about it, it has to be something that you think of in the long run. Will I be happy in this type of career in the next 10 years? Will I retire in the same career? But most people don't nowadays because the world has just evolved like that. So those are the factors that you have to look into. Okay. So are my parents going to afford taking me to university? Okay. Or are there financial aids for me to actually apply for me to go to university? Okay. Right, so those are the factors that you actually have to take into consideration. Okay. And if you're unsure, there are career assessments that you can go to centers for, that you can, to any psychologist, qualified psychologist can do a career assessment for you to actually give you a nice outlook on your interests, your personality, your aptitude, etc., your weaknesses and your strengths. So those are the kinds of things that you have to look into. The closing dates of the career of the study the course that you want to study. Those are the kinds of things that you have to really think about. Okay. So we have a very clear motto at UJ: be clear. Be clear basically stands for, the C stands for choose the right career for yourself, meaning that you start at grade 9, choosing the correct subjects, because that's where it starts. And then the L stands for learn, for instance, learn well in grade 10. Okay, and then in grade 11, that's when you earn. Right, you earn good marks in grade 11 because what you do at university, that's why when you apply for the next year, you use your grade 11 marks while you're still in grade 12. Right. Excellent. So if you have excellent grade 11 marks, they immediately take you while you're still in grade 12, and they just wait for your NCS marks. Okay, cool. Excellent. And the apply for while you're in grade 12 and then register. So that's the clear message that we have in UJ. Excellent. So start in grade 9, have clear indication of the subjects that you want to do with the help of your family or your teachers at home, at school, etc. So be informed from very on. Okay. All right. Excellent. And then what are the benefits of a gap year? Well, gap years differ from person to person in terms of why they actually intended on taking a gap year. One, it could necessarily be because of financial reasons, or it could be because they want to explore the world if they can afford it, traveling the world for a year, or it can involve, like for instance, engaging in community work. Let's say, for instance, you want to be a doctor. So it would be an excellent time for you to volunteer in clinics and hospitals where you can, because when you apply for an MPCHB, you have to have have a community work that you have done for some universities that actually shows that you do want to work with people and you do want to work in the health professions, etc. So there are benefits. You get to know yourself better. You don't feel pressure to choose something that you don't want to do. So for instance, like you get to gain experience at work, whichever work industry that you were, maybe at your uncle's business or at whichever place that takes for interns who have just graduated high school. So those are the kinds of benefits that you get from taking a gap year. And as well, while you're working, you can save up some money for yourself to actually start registering for next year. So those are the kinds of benefits that you can get for taking a gap year.
Excellent, excellent.
Just my question on that. We'll get to the comments in a bit.
Sure.
You know how, I know most schools, definitely my school did, they organize universities to come through open day, what they offer, you know, what to expect and the fees for whatever course you want to, career path that you want to pursue. But now, what's the benefit and advantage of attending a varsity open day?
Well, I think if I was a student and I was attending an open day and I didn't know anything about a certain university, I think the clearance and actually the direction in terms of the different faculties that are within that university would give me a more greater outlook in terms of what I can expect at university after I graduate high school. So those are the kinds of things that you should expect, that you get to speak to the lecturers, you get to speak to the students that are already on campus life, you get to ask different questions. What should I study in high school? What qualifications should I have, or APS score, for instance, should I have in order for me to do a qualification in chemical engineering, for instance? So you get to ask the one-on-one with the lecturers, you know, and you get to find out more details about whatever scope of, let's say you have top 3 faculties that you want to look into. So you go in and venture out and ask all different kinds of questions that you want to.
You just mentioned APS scores as well. I'm sorry, I just wanted to catch you there. We've got a comment here from Unoltando Dube. It's pretty vague, but I'll read it anyway. She says, can you apply for a course if you have an APS score of 34 and they want 35?
Well, it depends on the compulsory subjects that she has to have. For instance, it varies in different faculties and courses, so I cannot answer and say yes or no. So she would have to apply and find out from the department or faculty that's being questioned and find out if she does qualify. For instance, if you have a 34, maybe they require 34 and you meet all the required things within the prospectus, you can go in and ask at the department, what should I do? Or what other things, alternatives that I can actually do. Because, for instance, there are extended programs if you have just missed that glitch of the APS. Okay, so those are the kinds of things. So I can't say yes or no. She'll have to find out from the department itself.
Thanks for that comment indeed. And she's also just said here, we choose a career path not because of money, but because of passion. I support that fully.
Completely, definitely. Because you want to be able to do this for the rest of your life.
As long as you can get up in the morning as well and know that I'm doing what I love. Rather
then it's not work. It's not work. So how did you get into psychology and why?
I've had an interest in the human behavior and how people behave and why do they do the things that they do, etc. And I've also had that helping side of me. Remember, I also told you that I wanted to be a doctor when I was younger. So it actually led me, I'll still be working with people but in a more cognitive sense. Touch therapeutically and counseling them in a more one-on-one session, you know what I mean? So I was interested in that, and psychology just fascinates me.
Fantastic. Hang on, we're getting a phone call in from Deandra. Hi, Deandra. Okay, she wants to know, what is the difference in clinical psychology? How does somebody look at clinical psychology?
Does she want to do
clinical psychology? Yes, she wants to do clinical psychology.
Okay, so there are various scopes within the Health Professionals Council of South Africa for the qualification of psychology. There's educational psychology, counseling, and clinical psychology, to name a few, and research psychology. So with a clinical psychology, you basically work in psychiatric wards in hospitals, where you deal with severe cases, like, for instance, psychiatric severe, like schizophrenia, schizophrenia, your severe depression, and all those kinds of things that actually need a person to be hospitalized for a number of years. So you deal with those kinds of people who have those kinds of problems.
Okay, cool, excellent.
Okay.
And also then, in terms of speaking about parents, how do you then cope with reluctant or kind of pushy parents in terms of your career choices? How can one cope with that? How can one arm themselves with the correct information to make the right decision and also convince their parents that they are making the right decision?
Well, that's one simple word: research.
Okay.
Once you come up, because parents can be reasonable, because they also don't want to waste their money, because it's expensive to take a child to university. So if you have your research done, okay, mom, this is what I want to study. So here's how much it's going to cost, and here are the universities that actually offer these courses, and these are my qualifications in terms of your grade 12 certification, and you actually tell them why you're passionate about this course or degree, etc. When you have enough research for your parents, they actually can be convinced and support you in terms of going along with you. Not just say, no, but mom, I just want to do drama, but tell them why you feel so strongly about doing drama and studying towards drama instead of doing journalism, etc. So those are the kinds of things. When you are wanting to convince someone, bring up a proper plan, bring up proper research, back up in terms of, okay, so if this doesn't work out, this will work out. If this doesn't work out, this will work out. So then your parents can also be helped in that way to help you to make that decision.
And can you bring parents along to open days?
Yes, of course. Most of parents, I've seen lots of parents coming through with their sons and daughters to come and see the university, to get a feel about the university life and the different kinds of courses. And even parents ask questions to the lecturers. So what does my child have to do in order to be accepted in engineering, and so on and so forth.
Okay, cool.
Sorry, we've also got an email that nearly slipped my mind. It's from Umosa Ntladi, and I don't know if it's a guy, but I think it's a guy. He says, how do I feel or know that the career path that I've chosen best suits me? Because some of us choose a career based on our role models. What's your take on that?
Well, most of the time, he'd probably find out by not doing so very well in his academic performances at school or at university. Or he could be very miserable, feeling depressed, no drive in actually waking up and going to classes, no motivation whatsoever. So those are the kinds of alarms that actually should be ringing in your head. Okay, no, maybe this is not the right thing for me to do. So an alarm is actually constant failure, no motivation whatsoever. You can't make friends, you actually feel stuck and you don't know what to do about anything. So those are the kinds of indications that he should speak to someone. Most universities actually have student support systems, have psychological centers and academic developmental centers like University of Johannesburg, that you can actually go and see a qualified psychologist or qualified counselor to actually help them into the right, taking into the right direction, into making the right choice. Okay, this is not working for me anymore. What are my options? What else can I do? Will I be able to qualify for this if I don't do well in this one? So you actually guide them to actually see which direction there are possibilities out there as well. So you don't have to feel stuck in one thing. You can speak to someone who's very well counseled and who knows what they're talking about.
Can I just squeeze in one more comment / question? I'd like to see myself as a geological engineer. I love the show so much, guys. Love you. Geological engineer, what faculty does that fall under? For those who don't know.
I should think for different universities as well, Faculty of Science, Faculty of Engineering, it would depend on which they decide is more on, whether is it more engineering or is it more on geological studies. So geological studies, geography would be in the Department of Science, a Faculty of Science rather, and then engineering would be obviously a different faculty altogether. So depending on which varsity, maybe he or she could find out if it's under Faculty of Engineering or under Faculty of Science.
Thanks for that question, Gerabetso. Sorry, I forgot to mention that name there.
Thank you so much. That was really, really informative. So in sort of summation, I think it's just important that you make your own decisions when it comes to your studies. Thank you so much, Yolanda. That's been fantastic. Don't forget that next week we'll be talking sexual health. I mean, not next week, on Wednesday, we'll be talking sexual health and how to take care of yourself. Please join us back on Connections. Thank you once again to Yolanda.
Thanks
Have a
Amor.
fantastic
So much.
evening.
You too.
Please join us on Wednesday.